Well, hello there, traders and investors. I'm Ellie Little, and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets, and we're doing it from a neoclassical perspective, each time asking ourselves what happened today, and what does it tell us about the coming ones. I do the show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday, broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube. It's under the channel L.A. Little. If you want to subscribe, reach up in the right-hand corner, do so. Anytime I push content, you'll get a notification. As far as these markets, boy, it just doesn't stop. It's an amazing run, just continues. We had another update today. Started out lower on the oil debacle, but then we just turned around and ran back the other way. Japanese market getting hit on a strengthening yen. DAX actually turned around and ran back north. We actually had the dollar down on the day. And then we also had gold slightly down by the end of the day. Oil flipped around, still closed down, but not nearly as bad as it was at one point. It's down 7% after that conference, and the oil ministers just did not work out the way they wanted. Why did it flip around? Well, the story was that Kuwait has a strike in the oil fields, and then that was pushing back the other way, allowed oil to come off those lows despite the fact that there's no cap on production anywhere. And how much longer that will last, I'm not sure, but it certainly displayed the resiliency, as you can see here, holding up in the face of bad news, right? When the market doesn't want to give it up, and you get bad news coming out against it, and it holds, that's a pretty positive sign, and that's what we saw today. I suspect it's going to go up here and try to attack these highs again. Now, these highs, if you pull this back and look at it on a weekly time frame, you know, these highs are still coming back into the swing point low, doing a full retest regen. And I was telling members this weekend, you know, you could drop 15, you could sky another 10%. And it looks like they're going to try for the sky, right? They're going to try to break these highs tomorrow, and we'll see what it brings. Right now, the market is holding up as you would want if you're bullish. Now, as I start the broadcast here tonight, I don't have ending numbers in terms of volume on these markets, but you can see the S&P breaks out, makes new highs. If we flip over to the SPY to get a feel for what those volume numbers look like, they were a little bit heavier on the SPY itself. Let's see about the Qs. The Qs were struggling more so. You got a lot of pressure in the technology stocks, in particular Apple. I saw Netflix after the hours down, you know, something like 15%. It cut its losses to about 7. Rambus was down big on earnings miss. So technology is having a hard time here, but you know, the rest of the market just wants to go up, so technology just gets drugged with it. 111.33 was the top. Did 26 today, so a lot less volume when looking at the Qs. If we flip over to the NASDAQ, look at it, NASDAQ couldn't get over that high, whereas the S&P did. And the NDX actually did get over it and then fell back below it and closes under it. If the volumes are lower, then that's a small failure there. But folks, you know, these small failures have been nothing more than inconveniences. They haven't stopped anything with respect to this run. And then the Russell, of course, got a nice big spike as well, as those bank stocks continue to do well. I'll pop up the KRE, which we were talking about last week. That one's still holding up there near the highs. And as we talked about, you know, on a weekly basis, that's going into let's grab that KRE again. That's going up into those prior breakdown bars and the full retest regen bar. So that could travel another $1.50 and continue to put support on this market. So the bottom line, whether we like it or not, is this market still shows no sign of turning. Right? We've had a few little scattered, what we just called inconveniences, saying, hey, you know, it might be time, but in general, hasn't happened yet. IBM comes out, lower revenue again. We saw, I think it was Pepsi-Cola tonight, saying world growth slowing. So we're seeing all sorts of signs telling us that companies can't raise revenues, but they keep making the bottom lines increased, or at least hold in most cases, and that's allowing these stocks to hold up. So as we wrap it up here tonight, still no sign this market wants to pull back, folks. I'm sure it will at some point, but not yet. So we just got to stay with it. Until next time, have a great one. Thanks for joining me. Good night.